Hi, good evening. How are you? Nice seeing you. Uh, this coming week we're going to read Parashat Toldot on Shabbat. And I wanted to start with something funny. There was this man, his name was George Bernard Shaw. He's a famous, very sharp, intellectual guy. But he just didn't look so nice. He wasn't handsome, but he was very sharp. He was very wise, clever. Once he met this beautiful, beautiful dancer. And she tells him, let's get married. And bring children to the world. Imagine to yourself, she tells him, my looks, the beauty of me, and your brain could be such a good match together. But this guy was very clever, as I said, and wasn't so thrilled about this. And he tells her, but what's going to happen if the boy will have my looks and your brains? Sometimes in children's education, we look for all kind of shortcuts. And if you don't invest constantly all the time, it will just not work out. This parasha teaches us a lot. What does it mean to be a father and a mother? Okay? So, let's talk about a mother. We know that Abraham, he had Sarah, and then later on he had Hagar, and then some say even Pilakshot, some other ladies that, some other women that he got married to. No, Pilakshot is without the ketubah, it's not a wife. And then Yaakov, he had Rachel and Leah, and then Bilhah and Zilpah. Yitzchak had only one woman, only Rivka. And Rivka was very smart. In her special wisdom, in her Bina Yetera that this Rivka had, she was to him a mother, a daughter, a wife, and a sister. So a mother, it says, Vayinachem Yitzchak acharei imo. Yitzchak was consoled after his mother. His mother, when she passed away, he was so sad. He was devastated. He didn't feel kedusha anymore. He felt left alone. And she came and she told him everything will be okay. Don't worry. She calmed him down. She relaxed him. She consoled him like mother does to her kids. That's when she acted like a mother to him. A daughter, she admired him. How a daughter admires her father.
Oh, yeah.
She admired him. When she saw him first, she saw him coming. He was in the field. He was praying. Some Mefarshim say he came straight from Gan Eden at that time. So you can imagine that he was full of spirituality. Okay? She looks at him and she tells Eliezer, who is this guy? She sees his glory. She sees that he's so special. And she right away, it says that she fell from the camel and she covered herself because she felt that she admires him so much. You know, when a woman, she is smart, she knows how to admire her husband. She tells him, you're so smart. You're so successful. You know how to treat this one. You know how to speak to this one. You have a way how to fix things. You keeps giving him compliments that he's the best, that he knows what is he doing. That's a daughter. A sister. Let's say when a woman is nida, so they can't really come close or whatever. So she encourages him at that time. She supports him. She gives him his moral support that he needs. And then a wife. After the mikveh, it says, "Ve'inei Yitzchak metzachek et Rivka." Always looks for new things, how to come close to her husband, how to speak and communicate, how to excite and interest him and be interested in deeds, That's even how she was as a wife. So this special woman, she now, after waiting, and praying so much, gave birth to these twins, Yaakov and Esau. When it says, when Yitzchak became 123 years old, 5 years before his mother passed away, she passed away when she was 127, he started to worry, maybe I'm supposed to die soon. So he wanted to bless his children. There is something that goes all over the fathers. There is some kind of special blessing that they carry out. So Adam gives it to Shet, his son. Not to Cain and Hevel, to Shet. Shet gives it to Noach. Noach gives it to his sons.
1 second, who was Shet?
Shet was Adam's son.
The third one.
So Shat li Hashem ben Acher. And from him came the whole world. All of us, we come from Shet, not from Cain, not from Hevel. We come from Shet. Hello. And so he calls his sons. Now his sons are not young anymore. They are 63 years old, Esav and Yaakov. When he calls him to give him a bracha, he tells him, go find me, hunt some things and bring me a korban. I want to bless you. At that time, Esav is already married to women that are not so good women, that are idol worshippers. And Yitzchak and Rivka don't see so much nachat from them, okay? And it says that Yitzchak got blind from their deeds. Rivka sees everything. In a way, Yitzchak doesn't see. Rivka sees everything. See, when she sees everything, and she sees how her kids grew up, she can come and tell him, you don't know. She can come and complain and argue with him. That's because of you. You don't know how to educate the kids. See, we didn't discipline them in the right way. And because you love him too much, you don't see his faults. You don't see his problems. You know, it's Yaakov that's supposed to get all the attention. It's Yaakov that's supposed. We never see that she said any of that to Yitzchak Avinu. Why not? Because she respected him very much. Both Rivka and Yitzchak, they were prophets. In prophecy, there is this rule: if I know something and the other prophet doesn't know something, it means he's not allowed to know, he's not supposed to know. I'm not supposed to reveal him things that are not revealed to him. So if he doesn't know certain things, she doesn't say. But it doesn't mean that she's supposed to disrespect him, that she's supposed to humiliate him, call him names, saying that he doesn't know how to educate or discipline his kids and stuff like that. When she sees that Yitzchak doesn't realize something, she makes an action. She decides what to do, but with a lot of respect to Yitzchak. See, in this kind of a house, Esav and Yaakov are raised. Esav and Yaakov, both of them have a lot of potential to be great people. And it says, "Ve'yahav Yitzchak et Esav ki tzayid befiv." Looks like that he made himself love Esav. Ki tzayid befiv. Esav was kind of trying to deceive him, through. And Yitzchak saw that when he makes him tzayid, when he hunts and brings some food to him, he tries so much. He really puts so much effort in the mitzvah of kibud horim, of honoring parents. So he takes this mitzvah that Esav is so good at, and we know that even the biggest Tanaim didn't come to the level of honoring parents as Esav. Okay? When he sees that he has such a good quality, he makes it bigger, he increases it, he makes a whole big deal of this, so that Yitzchak will feel good about himself. So that Esau will feel good about himself. so that there should be some connection between father and son. Sometimes we have our kids, teenage kids, and such a nonsense interests them. And if you say to yourself, I don't care about these sports, or I don't care about these cards, or I don't care about his friends that he goes out with, or you're not interested in whatever interests him or her, we might lose them. Be interested, like Yitzchak did, okay? He tells him, Kach kashtecha vekelecha. He gives attention to all the tools that he's going to use as he hunts. He asks him, what kind of spear is that? What kind of sword is that? What kind of, I don't know, the tools over there. And they talk about this, and he gets interested, a little bit in his life, so they would communicate a little bit, so they talk something about. And that's what we have to do for to have some communication between parents and children. Give him compliments, refer to him in the right way, attention. This is how kids are blooming. There was this boy, his name was Avi. I read this book, and I read this story in a book it's called Nitzotzot Sparks. And a small yeshiva down south of Israel, and this boy was such a wild boy. Everything that breaks in the yeshiva is because of him. If all of a sudden a water pipe explodes, they all know it's because of him. If, I don't know, garbage spills, if this problem, if that problem, whatever, breaking windows and I don't know, whatever could be bad thing, mischief, he's guilty. They know that it's him. The teachers are trying to punish him. They're trying to be good with him, trying to be bad with him. Nothing helps. And they feel it's because of the principal. The principal, okay, was very soft with him. Too soft with him, they believe. He was also talking to him. So why did you do that? Explain me. So what made you do this? You have to listen. There's two powers in you. There's the good Yetzer, and there's the bad, the evil inclination. When you're doing something, think, who told you to do that? Is this the good part of you, or is the bad part of you? Keeps talking to him and explaining him and try. Nothing happened. Nothing helps. This boy keeps being wild and do all these weird things, and the teachers don't know what to do. This is since first grade, second, third, fourth, till it comes to 8th grade. One of the teachers in that faculty was also his son, the principal's son, and he also didn't understand what's with his father. Why is he so soft with this boy? Why he doesn't expel him from this school? Why he doesn't? The father, the principal, right, keeps saying that the power of love is much stronger than anger. Let's say you can be angry. You in your anger sometimes we could do all kind of things that we regret afterwards. But he says the power of love is stronger than this, than anger. He explained him, all this mashal, the sun and the wind. They was trying to compete who's going to take away the coat from this young lad that was going in the street, and the wind, as much force that it puts on this lad, couldn't take it away. He was tightening it more and more, he was closing it more, and the sun with its warmth, okay, so he just took it away because he was hot. He didn't need this anymore. This is what the principal was trying to say. But they didn't see the results in school. They really didn't see it. When he finished elementary school, so he moved to he went to a different school, and the family also moved away from that area. They went to live in one of the settlements in the West Bank or somewhere. And he lost contact with the boy, didn't know what happened with this Avi. did he stay religious? Did he lose it? Did he succeed in this new school? He was keep praying for him that he will, he will be a good boy, that he will keep listening to his good yetzer and not to his bad, evil inclination. And so for years he didn't hear of him. A few years ago, you remember there was this disengagement in Israel when Israel was forced to depart or to give away Gush Katif, all this place, the South Israel, and so it was a very tough situation, very difficult. A lot of people, they didn't know. They didn't know how to look at this. From one side, their heart was with the soldiers that were forced to evacuate people, and sometimes they had to do it with strength, right? Using, and their heart was also with the settlers that had to leave that area after they invested so much, lived there for 20, 30 years, and then had to leave everything behind for who? For killers. And one area over there, though, one little settlement was called Afiktal. Few 30, 40 people lived there, and they were very tough. They didn't want to evacuate themselves. So what they did, they prepared some explosives, and they brought it with them to the shul, to one of the synagogues over there, and they all gathered in that shul, and if the soldiers are going to come and evacuate them, they might use those explosives. Whatever happens. Okay? This is what they decided. And so the next day, the day of the evacuation, reporters are coming, journalists, cameras, TVs, radios, all networks, they come to cover this thing over there. But then they see that the settlers are coming one by one by themselves. They evacuate themselves, they don't need no power or no strength of any soldier or anything. We're singing sad songs and coming out by themselves. And they didn't understand what happened. They were waiting for action, and it didn't happen. So they say, it's our leader. He decided that we don't do anything. So they went to this leader. The leader was Avi. Avi was already grown up. He had himself some kids. And he said, in my mind, I was thinking of my principal that kept telling me, when you're making a decision, what is it? Your Yetzer Tov or Yetzer Hara? If I make a decision now to kill people, what is it? My pride? What exactly I'm trying to get? So I was trying and thinking to think, what is the good Yetzer would tell me to do? And then I decided, so all this credit I give to my principal that invested so much in me and never saw the fruits of it. He called him afterwards and he told him, oh, I prevent a whole big tragedy or disaster or whatever you call it, just because of you, just because, see, at that moment he didn't see that, he didn't see any results, but he just put a seed of love. Later on, after years, he just had this sprout, that's something that came out of it. At that moment, you may not see it. This is what love makes, much, much stronger than anything else. Last week, I was in this conference. They call it bullies and bystanders. What to do in a situation when kids, they take action, they're violent, they do this, and what about the bystanders, the people that are around them? How they act, why they act a certain way. Sometimes they're passive, sometimes they're not. So the big thing that I learned from that was that usually kids, they imitate the adults. Right? If a father speaks at home against rabbis, against, I don't know, if he use bad language, so the child learns it. The biggest problem is the role model. That's what I believe. Esau lived in the house of Yitzchak Avinu. How come he became such evil? Wasn't that enough what Yitzchak is teaching him? Oh, he sought with him. He lives with him for so many years. Oh, a bad boy, you marry him off, you say, bye-bye, you and your kala. I don't want to see you, I don't want to hear, come once a year and that's it, right? They kept living with each other. Him and his kalot. We know that they were idol worshipping. It really bothered them. But we never see not Yitzchak nor Rivka say anything to Esau and his wives. Why?
They live together somehow.
They live together. So they said, because Yitzchak Avinu, he was our greatest father. I want to explain you something. Maybe you read this midrash. It says in Gemara, Masachet Shabbat, Daf Peitet, something, a very, very interesting story. The thing that the midrash over there. It says, לעתיד לבוא, אמר לו הקדוש ברוך הוא לאברהם, Hashem is going to tell to Abraham, in the future, בניך חטאו, your children have sinned. אמר לפניו, ריבונו של עולם, Abraham says, ימחו על קדושת שמך. If they have sinned, you can punish them. You can punish them. Your name, the glory of your name, is more important. Abraham? Our father, the one that created the Jewish nation? The one that Chesed was guiding him, he was teaching Chesed, he was doing Chesed all the time? How come? That's what Abraham said. So, Hashem comes to Yaakov and he tells him, Yaakov, he suffered until he raised all these children and he went through a lot. Probably he will feel mercy on his children. So he tells him, Yaakov, Banecha chatu, your kids have sinned. He says, Yimachu al kedushat shemcha. Punish them. So then he comes to Yitzchak and he tells him again, Banecha chatu. Yitzchak tells him, why do you say Banecha? My kids? Why, they're not your kids? Yitzchak says, when you gave us the Torah, okay, when you gave the Jewish nation the Torah, it says, Hem hikdimu, they made naaseh, first say naaseh and then say nishma. First we will do and then we will listen. This is how they were willing to accept the Torah. And you call them b'ni bechori, my son, my friend, the most important one. Now it's my kids, it's not yours. What happened? Now that they have sinned, they're not your kids anymore? That's what Yitzchak tells him. And here Yitzchak starts to make calculations. Let's say somebody lives 70 years in this world. Half of this time it's sleep, half of its time is this, half of it, he does this, he does that. He came up to 12 and a half hours. Basically it tells to Hashem, on me, you know. He tells Hashem something like that. I suffered my own Esav in my house. He did the worst thing ever. Well, we know that he killed, he lied, he stole, they worked Avodah Zarah, whatever. And I kept him in my house. I never sent him away. About Abraham, it says that when Sarah comes to him and tells him, your son, so he sent Hagar. What could he do? He sent him away. Yaakov also, when he saw that Reuven and Shimon, they're fighters, they're starting fights, and that, he cursed them. They say the same way you used to be in this world, you're going to act in the next world too. And so Yitzchak, that was so patient with Esau, tells to Hashem, if I was patient with him, if I suffered him, you can suffer your kids also. And Hashem accepted that. This is Yitzchak Avinu. Yitzchak Avinu is the advocate of the Jewish people. Yitzchak Avinu is our defender, okay, next to Hashem. So a father that can hold his children next to him, even though they're bad kids, even though they're not behaving, okay, this is what this is the one that can speak and defend us, okay?
You know, the whole story with Rachel and why didn't it work?
So Rachel, she came to him with it's in a different idea. Rachel Imenu was in the past already. This is something that's going to be in the future. It's true. It's very close to whatever Rachel did. Everything takes a different. Every gadol takes different responsibility on himself. Speaks also about David HaMelech, that he takes. He has a different channel in heaven how to get to Hashem, how to talk to him.
But why did he come out bad, Esav? Before the question.
Esav, it says that when he was born, why his name was Esav? Because he was asui. Asui already made up, already done. Okay, like cooked, right? Already complete. He was born with hair. He was born with teeth. He was born ready. And when somebody is born ready, it's like a grown-up child all of a sudden, he feels he has so much. He doesn't have to start from scratch from the beginning, from like other kids. They have to learn how to crawl, they have to learn how to... He knows it already. He didn't invest so much into his spiritualism. He thought he knows. He has big potential, and he had a big potential. He had a very big potential. But because he had a very big potential, he lost it. He also had a lot of desires. He couldn't stand. He couldn't stand it. His desires overcome him eventually. It was too hard for him. But he had much bigger potential than Yaakov Avinu. He was older than him. And this is the reason that Yitzchak thought that he might carry this torch, he might carry this blessing, continue the legacy of the family. He thought so. He had so much potential, he could do it. But his evil inclination just took over him. So how does our child checks us if we love him? Tries to do, tries to stretch out all kind of behaviors, all kind of limits to see how much we really love.
Especially boys.
Especially, it can be boys, of course, could be girls.
Girls do that.
Could be girls, yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's too much violence that they use, too much violence. Sometimes it's they answer in a chutzpah way. They want to see. Do you really love me? If I'll act this way, you still care about me? You still... And this is how they test us. Here you have to be careful, because when you... right away, it's easy to think for us because you're tired, because all kind of reasons. You start with all kind of power struggles. Mm-hmm. You have to be there. You don't fall into this trap, because many times he answers this way because he himself is tired, because he's exhausted, because he's hungry, because he's confused, whatever went through today. Sometimes he feels he's a failure in school, so he tries to boast around at home. All kind of reasons that it's not because of chutzpah, it's not because he doesn't respect that he does that. He just wants to check limits sometimes. Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They do test the limits, but also they don't know that they're testing limits.
Right.
A lot of times they're learning.
Right.
That this is wrong, but they don't know how really. They're thinking they're playing, whatever. But how, okay, we as mothers see it a lot more because with the children a lot more. And we're kind of trying to fix our approach toward them every single day. But what do we do when, let's say, fathers lose it? Like, how do we help fathers to realize that it's not chutzpah?
Okay, so before you came, I spoke about Rivka. I said that she saw how Esav acts, and Yitzchak didn't see because he was blind. She had millions of occasions to tell him, you're wrong. You don't see it the right way. I see. But she was very respectful. She never confronted him and told him, you don't know how to discipline your kids. Look at him, he becomes a monster, he becomes this. Never confront, never said anything. When it was time, when she saw that she needs to educate, she takes an action. Right? This is when she decides that Yaakov should take the brachot and not Esau. But she never did it next to, she never tell her husband, you're wrong, you don't know. Never fight or argue in front of the kids. You want to tell something to your husband, I'm sure you have a lot of things to tell him, not next to them. Because they see, what's happening, and they're very manipulating, kids. Usually they're very smart. And they start. Oh, you feel guilt, or you feel this, or you feel that. And they play on this. They know how to do it. They did it once, they did it twice. They know exactly how to do it, to continue doing it. They grow. The more they grow, the more sophisticated they get, right? So if you have to sit with your husband, sit and tell him, listen, yesterday I saw this and this and this, how do you think we should approach it? Talk about this. See what he says. And then hopefully you can apply it for next time. But the kids shouldn't see, oh, my father, my mother said something, my father or whatever, because they're going to play around this. So our mission is to educate our children to good qualities, to teach them how to be self-controlled. They cannot say whatever they want anytime they want. They cannot throw. They cannot be violent with their brothers. They cannot do certain things. You have to be firm, but also show a lot of love, because that's important. You tell him, I love you too much. I cannot allow you behave this way because it's going to disturb you later on. In school they will not allow it. It's not acceptable. I want you to learn how to work on yourself. There's all kind of cards, there's all kind of games, there are all kind of stories that you can give them an example. Not at the moment that he needs to get it, because that won't help. It's like nothing. When he's quiet, when it's, let's say, Shabbat afternoon and you have some time, when he's calm, when he will accept it. When he's angry because of something, because of you or you're at him, don't start chinuch, don't start this session of chinuch eladim, because it's not going to help. Only when he's willing to accept, when he's calm, when he doesn't know where this attack is going to come from all of a sudden. So to give him a lot of self-appreciation,
Appraisal.
To make him appreciate himself. Mm-hmm. And know what he's capable of. He has good qualities. He's smart. He's able to do things. You have to give him compliments, because otherwise they see their friends, how they succeed, and it bothers them. So whenever they act nicely, of course you have to compliment them. And every small little thing that they have, increase it. Good quality, like Yitzchak did. The only thing that he could relate to is the way that he respects his father. So he increased it. Yeah, go bring me things, because once you bring me this korban, you work for me and you like it so much. Esau used to wear a special joma when he used to serve his father. Who does these things? And the special joma means he has to prepare himself before he comes to his father, and he has to, once you're wearing a joma, it's also a switch in the mode, and it's a whole big preparation that he needs to get to his father now. He needs to, yes.
But it didn't do anything. All this love that Yitzchak gave him didn't make him change.
In a way, you're right. Not because Yitzchak gave him love and it didn't help. Whatever Yitzchak gave him love, it did help a lot. It says that Yimlu'u Yemei Evel Avi, Esau was so upset at his brother Yaakov that he took from him the brachot and he wanted to kill him. But then he restrained himself. He says, no, I'll wait. I don't want my father to be upset at me. You know how many years he was willing to wait until his father is going to die? He didn't know when his father is going to die. He said, I'll wait. I don't want him to see the sorrow that I will cause him.
Wow.
I'll wait. This angry person, this person that doesn't mind to kill, doesn't mind to steal, doesn't mind to be violent, doesn't mind to... was waiting, holding himself so many years so that not upset or not to cause sorrow to his father. That's a lot of work to do
So nothing
for
could
such a
stop
person.
him except for the love of the Father.
Mhm.
Wow.
And the fact that Esau didn't become Chozer B'tshuva in the end is because of his too much bad desires, not because the love wasn't enough. It says that when Yaakov passed away, he asks his son to bury him in Ma'at HaMachpelah, right? So it's the whole big commotion, all the brothers are coming, and as they come to Ma'at HaMachpelah, Esau comes. What does it mean? He starts to fight with them, and they start fighting. And in the middle of the fight comes all of a sudden Hushim ben Dan, and he was a deaf. He didn't understand what's the commotion, who is this person, what does he want, why he disturbs the Levaya and everything. He just killed him. So the head of Esau rolled into Ma'at HaMachpelah. His body is not. What does it mean? That Esau had so much potential that his head is buried in Ma'at HaMachpelah.
Wow.
But his body, because his desires ate him too much, he cannot be buried over there. So it's because of desires, not because the love of the father and mother wasn't enough over there. It was too much. We cannot understand when a big person that has so much potential has also such a strong evil inclination. We cannot understand that. And that's why he